Have you ever considered the possibility that the reality we perceive is merely an illusion, a glitch in the matrix? Imagine for a moment a world beyond what we can touch and see, a world that exists, not in the physical realm, but in the digital. A world that is so intricately designed, so impeccably detailed, that it mirrors our own in every conceivable way. This, dear listener, is the concept of the Matrix, a simulated reality. It's a fascinating proposition, isn't it? To think that everything around us, everything we've ever known, could be but a fabrication, a sophisticated illusion orchestrated by an unseen power. But if such a matrix does exist, would it be flawless? Could it, like any other system, experience glitches? Glitches in the matrix, as they're often called, are moments that don't seem to align with our understanding of the world. They are those peculiar instances when the laws of physics seem to bend, when time appears to warp, when the seemingly impossible becomes possible. They are the inexplicable vanishing acts, the bizarre time slips, the eerie encounters with doppelgangers. But are these truly glitches? Or are they mere coincidences, explainable anomalies that we attribute to a larger hidden reality because we yearn for the extraordinary in our everyday lives? After all, humans are pattern-seeking creatures. We find comfort in order, in understanding, in explanations. And when we encounter the inexplicable, we seek to fit it into a narrative that makes sense to us. In the following narratives, we will delve into stories of individuals who have allegedly experienced these glitches. We will analyze their accounts, their experiences, and their interpretations. We will look at the evidence, the theories, and the debates. And then, we will leave it to you to decide. Immerse yourself in these peculiar narratives and decide for yourself. Are these mere coincidences or signs of a larger hidden reality? Our first story revolves around an ordinary man who experienced something extraordinary. Meet John, your average guy, who enjoyed the simple things in life. His routine was as predictable as the setting sun. One part of his routine was taking his dog, Max, for a walk around the block every evening. But one particular evening, his ordinary life took an extraordinary turn. As John strolled with Max, he noticed a car parked a few yards away. It was a blue sedan, nothing out of the ordinary, just another vehicle in the neighborhood. However, as he continued his walk, he couldn't shake off an odd feeling about that car. It seemed out of place, not because of its make or model, but because of a strange aura it seemed to emit, as if it didn't belong. John glanced back at the car, and as he did, he saw it start to shimmer. It was subtle at first, like a heat wave distorting the air. He blinked, thinking it was a trick of the light, but when he opened his eyes, the car was still there, shimmering even more intensely. John's heart pounded in his chest as he watched the car seemingly dissolve into thin air. One moment it was there, the next it was gone, leaving nothing behind but an empty space. Fear coursed through his veins. His mind raced, trying to make sense of what he had just witnessed. Was it a hallucination, a trick of the light, or was he just losing his mind? But Max's reaction confirmed that it wasn't just his imagination. The dog, usually calm and composed, was whimpering and cowering, his tail tucked between his legs. John tried to rationalize what happened. He thought about all the sci-fi movies he had watched, the stories about teleportation, alternate realities, and glitches in the Matrix. But those were just stories, right? The logical part of his brain screamed at him, reminding him that cars don't just vanish into thin air. But what he saw was as real as the fear that gripped him. In the following days, John scoured the internet looking for similar experiences, trying to find an explanation. He found stories of people claiming to have seen things disappear, but nothing exactly like his experience. He even contacted the local police, but without any proof, his story was met with skepticism. John's life was never the same after that incident. Every day he would pass by the spot where the car had vanished, hoping to see it reappear, hoping to find an explanation. But the car never returned, and the answers he sought remained elusive. But the question remains, where did that car go, or was it ever there at all? Let's delve into what our community thinks about this inexplicable event. First up, we have a comment from a viewer who suggests that what we call a vanishing act could be an instance of quantum superposition, where an object exists in all possible states until observed. Fascinating, isn't it? Next, we have a viewer who proposes a simpler yet spooky theory. They believe that the vanishing act might be due to a glitch in our reality, a hiccup in the matrix, if you will. It's a little unsettling, but definitely intriguing. Lastly, we have a skeptic in the house. This viewer argues that the Vanishing Act is nothing more than a fabrication, a trick of the mind, or perhaps even an elaborate hoax. These varied interpretations and theories are what keep this community vibrant. Your insights keep the mystery alive and the conversation engaging. Our next story transports us to a different time, quite literally. Consider a typical Tuesday afternoon. A woman named Sarah embarks on her weekly grocery shopping trip. The store, a familiar haven, brimming with the comforting humdrum of everyday life. But today, the universe had a peculiar twist in store for her. As Sarah strolled down the aisles, her shopping list in hand, she felt an inexplicable shiver run down her spine. The air around her seemed to shift, and a strange sensation swept over her. She looked around, and everything seemed to be different. The fluorescent lights overhead flickered, casting long, eerie shadows. The familiar products on the shelves morphed into unrecognizable brands, with faded packaging that whispered of a bygone era. The store, the same one she had visited countless times before, now appeared to exist in a different time altogether. The usual buzz of the store was replaced by a hushed silence. The modern digital cash registers were replaced by old mechanical ones. The shoppers around her were dressed in styles that seemed to belong to the 50s. Sarah was awash with confusion and disbelief, her heart pounding in her chest. The question echoed in her mind. Was she dreaming? Or had she somehow slipped through the very fabric of time? She approached a nearby shopper, a woman dressed in a vintage dress and a headscarf. Sarah asked her about the date. The woman looked at her with a puzzled expression and replied, "Why, it's the 14th of January, 1954. Sarah was stunned. She was standing in the same grocery store, but it was no longer 2024. Her mind raced as she tried to comprehend what was happening. Was this some elaborate prank, or had she really stepped into a time portal? Just as she was grappling with the reality of her situation, the same shiver ran through her. The lights flickered again, and the store shifted back to its modern-day version. The old cash registers were replaced by digital ones. The shoppers were back in contemporary clothing, and the products on the shelves were familiar once again. She was back in her own time. Sarah was left standing in the aisle, her heart still pounding, her shopping list forgotten in the chaos of the past few minutes. She looked around, but everything was normal, just as she'd left it. It was as if she had stepped into a different era and returned, all within the span of a few heartbeats. Was this a glimpse into the past? A time slip? Or a glitch in our perceived reality? Sarah might never know for sure what happened that Tuesday afternoon, but one thing was clear. The universe was far more mysterious and unfathomable than she had ever imagined. Our viewers have some intriguing thoughts on this temporal anomaly. Firstly, we have a comment from viewer A who suggests, could it be possible that our protagonist stumbled upon a wormhole? It's known that these theoretical passageways could potentially allow for travel through time and space. An interesting theory indeed. Next, viewer B posits, what if this time slip was just a vivid dream or hallucination? The human brain is a complex and mysterious thing after all. A more skeptical take, but certainly plausible. Lastly, viewer C offers a more philosophical perspective, saying, perhaps time isn't as linear as we perceive it to be. Could it be that we simply move through it in a certain way because of the limitations of our consciousness? A thought-provoking interpretation that certainly challenges conventional wisdom. Your theories challenge our understanding and fuel our curiosity. These diverse viewpoints remind us just how much there is to explore and understand in our unfathomable universe. Our final story today explores the unsettling phenomenon of doppelgangers. Imagine a man, let's call him John, who lived a quite ordinary life. He was someone you might pass on the street without giving a second glance. One day, however, something extraordinary happened. John was walking home from work when he spotted a familiar figure ahead. As he approached, he realized with a jolt of surprise that the man looked exactly like him. Same height, same build, same hair color, even the same mole on the left cheek. An exact replica, a doppelganger. Now, John was a rational man. He chalked it up to a strange coincidence and moved on with his life, but then it happened again. And again. Each time, his double appeared, silent and eerie, in different locations, at different times. John's life became a series of unsettling encounters with his own face. This wasn't like seeing a celebrity lookalike or a distant cousin. It was as if John was looking into a mirror, only the mirror was walking around in the world, living its own life, separate from his. The encounters left John feeling unmoored, like he was losing his grip on reality. He began to question his sanity, his identity, even his very existence. And so, John embarked on a quest for answers. He sought help from psychologists, spiritual advisors, even quantum physicists. Each offered their own theories. Some suggested that John was experiencing a psychological phenomenon known as hotoscopy, where a person sees their own body from a distance. Others proposed more esoteric explanations, like astral projection or a spirit double. Yet none of these explanations felt satisfactory to John. He couldn't shake off the palpable reality of each encounter, the uncanny detail of his double's appearance. In his search, John stumbled upon the concept of parallel universes. The idea that there could be an infinite number of universes, each slightly different from our own, each containing a version of ourselves living out a different life. Could his doppelganger be a version of himself from a parallel universe, somehow bleeding into his own? This theory, while wild and unprovable, resonated with John. It provided a semblance of understanding, a way to make sense of his eerie encounters. Yet it also left him with a profound sense of unease. If his double was indeed from another universe, what did that mean for him? Was he the original or just another copy? In the end, John was left with more questions than answers. His encounters with his doppelganger continued, each one a stark reminder of the mysteries that lay beyond the edges of our understanding. Is this a case of mistaken identity or evidence of parallel universes overlapping? The answer remains as elusive as the doppelganger itself. This tale serves as a chilling reminder of the unfathomable mysteries that our universe may hold, just waiting to be discovered. Our viewers never cease to amaze with their insightful and imaginative interpretations. Let's dive into some intriguing thoughts on the doppelganger story. First up, a comment from viewer Eternal Echoes, who suggests the doppelganger could be a quantum twin, a result of a split in the space-time continuum. A fascinating perspective that leaves us pondering the intricacies of quantum physics. Next, we have Stellar Spectre, who proposes a more psychological angle. They believe our protagonist might be confronting an embodied reflection of his subconscious, an external manifestation of his inner self. This theory certainly adds a layer of psychological depth to our story. Lastly, Cosmic Curiosity takes us on a mythical journey, associating the doppelganger with folklore, where seeing one's double is an omen of misfortune. This interpretation introduces an element of foreboding and superstition. Your perspectives enrich these narratives and deepen the mystery. These stories, these glitches, challenge our perception of reality. We've traversed the unfathomable universe, witnessed the inexplicable Vanishing Act, slipped through time, and encountered an uncanny doppelganger. Each narrative, each comment, is a testament to the intriguing nature of such phenomena, hinting at a reality far more complex and intricate than we could ever imagine. The possibility of a matrix-like existence. It's not just captivating, it's transformative. It alters our understanding of the world around us. It reminds us of the endless possibilities that lie in the realm of the unknown. We urge you to continue this journey with us, to share your thoughts, your experiences, your glitches. Let's push the boundaries of our understanding together. Let's question, let's explore, and let's marvel at the mysteries that surround us. Help us reach our goal of 1,000 subscribers by liking, sharing, and subscribing. Together, we can explore the mysteries of the Matrix.